So I was actually talking to my mom this weekend. I took her out to lunch on a date, and very good conversation we had. We were just catching up and reminiscing on a lot of old stories that she likes to tell. And one thing that we kept talking about was me as a child growing up, and how I was and what my behavior was like and what tendencies I had and what was in my DNA. And it was funny because a lot of what those things were when I was a child, I think has really contributed to who I am as an adult. And what I mean by that is, when I was a kid, my mom always suggested that I should be an attorney just because I'm a very argumentative person. Now that's somewhat of a joke, but I was an ornery child. I was always very wild. I was always, had a lot of energy, and I was always getting into things, always testing the boundaries. That's what we were discussing was, my ability to always frustrate people by walking up and tiptoeing on the line of where I should or should not be at, right? So she was telling a story of where we were at my grandparents' house, and they have this room that had all my grandmother's very expensive china, and I wasn't supposed to go in that room just because there was a lot of very expensive furniture and stuff in that room. So what I would do is I would walk and I would look at my parents the whole time, and I would literally put one foot in that room and the other foot outside of the room, and I would stare at them and I would say, look, hey, I'm not in the room. But that just goes to show what kind of a child I was, is I was always testing and pushing the boundaries. Now, while that was a huge pain in the ass for my parents and my grandparents when I was growing up, we were talking about how that is a very good thing for me now, right? That's a very good characteristic trait that I have. And I want to draw attention to that because I'm a big believer in positivity. I think there's a lot of people out there that look at some of the negative flaws and negative traits and characteristics that I had as a child, and then they contribute that to a lot of their failures now. Well, look for good things that you had as a child that maybe weren't so good back then, but they're characteristics that you have now that do make you a good person for those things. So I just wanted to share that. I think that was really awesome. And here's to pushing the boundaries.